It's hard to say if most supplements work because you might not feel anything. But there are several supplements that I've noticed to change some of my biomarkers, my fitness, or just how I feel. So in this video I'm going to share these supplements. The first supplement is HMB, which is a byproduct of the amino acid leucine. There's research that supplementing 1.5 to 3 grams a day of HMB can increase muscle mass and strength, especially in older individuals, by reducing protein breakdown. A 2022 umbrella review of 15 systematic reviews concluded that HMB supplementation doesn't increase muscle mass or strength in healthy individuals, but it has benefits in individuals who aren't getting enough protein. The reason I saw benefits from taking HMB is because I was taking it while I was in a fasted state in the morning. And fasting by definition is the absence of protein, even when I was eating around 160 grams of protein in my eating window later in the day. I have a smaller eating frequency and I have 2 protein meals per day. Taking HMB in the morning in the fasted state, in my experience, helped with muscle growth by reducing muscle breakdown, not by a massive amount, but whenever I was taking HMB in the past, I noticed bigger muscle definition and size. I probably wouldn't see this effect if I was eating breakfast and several protein meals throughout the day. However, HMB might still be beneficial for elderly people. A 2025 meta-analysis of 21 randomized controlled trials on adults over the age of 50 did see significant improvements in muscle mass, strength, and gait speed from taking 3 grams a day of HMB for at least 12 weeks. So if you're over the age of 50, you might benefit from HMB supplementation. Or if you're doing some form of intermittent fasting, you could also benefit from that. Let's talk about creatine because there are several effects I've noticed while taking it. When I was taking 28 grams of creatine after sleep deprivation, I definitely noticed that it helped to counteract a drop in cognitive performance. Taking creatine regularly without sleep loss has not been shown to do that for me, because I'm not in a cognitive deficit. When it comes to strength, then I definitely notice I have higher muscle power and explosiveness when taking creatine. You feel like you can activate your muscles at an 11, whereas without creatine it's only until 10. Do I notice water retention when taking creatine? Yes, a little bit. Creatine makes you hold on to water in your muscles, so your muscles look more full. But it's not fat gain or bloating, it's just water retention in the muscles. Glycine is something I take because of the idea that it helps with longevity by mimicking methionine restriction. There's compelling evidence in my opinion that glycine has lifespan benefits, but it's obviously something I can't know yet, it will take decades to know. What I can say is that glycine has contributed to me losing visceral fat, having better blood sugar, less skin glycation, and better sleep. These are the things I notice most when taking glycine, and they're big enough of a reason for me to keep taking it. I've also taken collagen for several years, and I definitely have seen improvements in my skin health and skin elasticity. I do think that collagen has played a big role in this because I haven't changed much else over the last 4 years, and there are dozens of clinical trials showing that collagen improves skin elasticity by up to 25% and reduces wrinkles. Astaxanthin is something I've started to take over the last 1.5 years. The biggest thing I've noticed is that my skin has become a little bit more colorful. It's not as strong as a suntan, but even during the winter my skin has a little bit of more glow to it. There is clinical evidence that astaxanthin helps with photoaging by counteracting UV damage on the skin. That's because astaxanthin is a carotenoid that has 6,000 times more antioxidant potential than vitamin C. I don't live in a very sunny country, so I don't get exposed to massive amounts of UV damage. But astaxanthin is proven to slow down photoaging of the skin. Melatonin is something I take quite regularly for regulating my circadian rhythm and improving sleep. But it also has antioxidant benefits, so I'm interested in that. When I take melatonin, I do notice an improvement in sleep duration and quality. It also depends a lot on the amount of melatonin I take. If I take 0.3 milligrams of melatonin, I sleep very good and without any grogginess in the morning. If I take higher doses like 3 milligrams or 10 milligrams, then I sleep fine, but I feel a bit more groggy and tired in the morning. Almost everyone would notice an effect from melatonin in my opinion. The effect is just going to be different, and it also depends on the dose. Some have more positive effects at larger doses, whereas others have negative effects at larger doses, so you need to figure out what dose is best for you. Let's talk about TMG. The reason I started taking TMG was to lower my homocysteine. I did notice that TMG decreased my homocysteine from 11 micromoles per liter to 9 micromoles per liter with a dose of 2 grams. A higher dose of 4 grams had no additional effect, but it was still worth it. There's also research that TMG might help with exercise performance and muscle strength and body fat loss, but I personally didn't notice any of those effects. And the research is quite conflicted and contradicting in that regard, so I don't believe that TMG has reliable exercise benefits. Omega-3s, however, have plenty of evidence for improving heart health, brain health, and reducing the risk of all-cause mortality, both directly in randomized controlled trials and indirectly through associations with a higher omega-3 index that reflects the amount of omega-3 fats in the red blood cells. What I've seen from taking omega-3s is that they raise my omega-3 index, People with a higher omega-3 index have lower rates of death and better health outcomes. I've managed to take my omega-3 index to 8% with 3 grams of omega-3s per day. Without 3 grams of omega-3s per day, my omega-3 index would be something like 6.5 or 7%. But by adding the supplement, it has increased to over 8%, which is more optimal. The amount of omega-3s you need also depends a lot on the individual. If you exercise more, you might need more omega-3s as well. Lithium is a supplement used to treat bipolar disorder and mania. There's also reported mood and mental health benefits to it in small doses. When I was taking lithium, I saw small improvements in my mood. This is something I've experienced twice when taking lithium already. It might be placebo, but there's also research that higher lithium levels in the water are associated with lower mortality and greater longevity across the world. So there might be some mental health and other longevity benefits there. These are the supplements I've noticed the biggest effect from. But let me give you some guidelines or recommendations to identify whether or not supplements work for you. Number 1, do the research. If someone is saying that you should take a supplement because it's going to make you lose fat or increase your sex drive, but there's no actual research to support that, then it's probably a hoax. If a supplement doesn't have any randomized controlled trials, then it doesn't mean it has no benefits, but it's much harder to draw conclusions about its effects without any evidence. Number 2, track biomarkers. If you know that a supplement is supposed to improve a specific biomarker, let's say cholesterol or homocysteine, then you can actually measure these biomarkers and see if it has an effect on you. Number 3, take breaks. To really see if something is working, you have to stop taking it for a while and see if you notice a difference. Then when you reintroduce it, you can see if the changes are because of the supplement or something else. Number 4, test one supplement at a time. If you start taking 10 supplements all at once, then it's hard to know which one works. This doesn't apply to supplements with different effects. For example, you can take creatine and collagen at the same time because creatine and collagen have different effects. These benefits don't overlap. Whereas for creatine and lithium, there are some overlapping benefits for mental health. So it would be harder to know whether it's creatine or lithium giving you those benefits. There are at least 15 supplements that have been seen to work in human clinical trials. Check out my video about it next.